One Powerboat Racing returns to Cape Town after an absence of 7 years. It's round 6 of the South African National Formula One Powerboat Championship, which forms part of the National Ports Authority's Cape Town Port Festival. And after the strong winds and heavy seas that led to the cancellation of the previous round in Mossel Bay, the calm, sunny weather in the mother city has come as a huge relief to the powerboat fraternity. A huge crowd had turned out to see these super fast catamarans in action and to cheer on their heroes in the race held next to the historical Duncan Dock in Cape Town Harbour, right in front of the port captain's office. This has got to be one of the beautiful sights in the world, but the pilots and their crews had no time to admire the scenery as they made final preparations for the big event.
Formula One powerboat pilots have been having sleepless nights. They've seen the water conditions and they're praying that the weather's going to be good this weekend, because rough waters and the Formula One powerboats are going to be out, although it won't affect the offshores and possibly the juniors because they are monohulls, but cats can't race in rough weather conditions.
The boats are readied for the all-important time trials that determine the starting order for the first of 3 15-lap heats, which make up round 6 of the championship. 14 times champion and current points leader Peter Lindenberg had no problem setting the fastest time to grab pole position for Heat 1, followed by defending champion Ian Mather, who's lying second in the championship. Unfortunately for him, disaster struck Russell Chard from Richards Bay as his 1989 Burger suddenly began to take on water. So what happened there, Russell?
I don't know. I did one lap and then I felt there was all water underneath me. I was getting wet.
So the time trial outcome looked like this, with Lindenberg at the top, a good performance by Marius Krauser, and look at Andre van Diemen in the lights category putting on a good time of 39.35. Conditions were calm as the water sports spectacle got underway with a demonstration race by local jet skiers, who produced a fine display of aggressive racing to get the Cape Town crowd into the swing of things. It's not easy to race these water versions of motocross bikes, and to be competitive the riders have to be super fit, as it's not only their jet skis that take a pounding, but their bodies too. All set for the start of the first heat with Peter Lindenberg on the inside in pole position, his teammate and reigning champion Ian Mather right next to him, and George Verschier in third. It's Lindenberg who gets off the line best, and he has the inside line into turn 1 with Ian Mather holding on to his second place. There's a 15 points difference between the two National Ports Authority teammates, advantage Lindenberg. After the first 4 rounds of the championship, and with 20 points up for grabs for a first overall, that situation could just change today. Across the line they come for the first time, and Lindenberg has already begun to pull away from Mather. In third is George Verschier, the former international sports car star, now in his first full season of Formula One powerboat racing. Then Andre van Diemen in an incredible 4th position in his much older boat. He's leading the lights category in the race, but is second in the lights championship behind Paul Reevy. Oh, but that's a disaster as Ian Mather comes to a stop. Something's wrong with that boat as his engine just simply died on him, and Mather will definitely not score any points in this race. Peter Lindenberg, he's carrying the number 2, signifying that he finished second behind Mather in last year's championship, and it's certainly something that he wants to put right this year. He's already won 3 of the first 4 rounds, and now with Mather out of this race, he's looking good for a first victory out of 3 here in Cape Town. This is George Verschier in the colours of Team Web Alto RB10, now in second place with the demise of Ian Mather. He's clearly desperate to get that problem fixed, but it looks very much like a terminal stoppage. This is the battle for 6th as Lucky Radebe in the number 10 National Ports Authority boat closes in on Russell Chard, whose Team Higher Anything boat has simply not been the same since that incident in the time trials. Radebe graduated to Formula One from Formula 3 at the beginning of the season and is now finding his feet. He's the only black Formula One pilot in the world and has become stronger as the season progressed. The yellow flags are out all around the course, so no overtaking is allowed, and the race order on lap 5 out of 15 is Peter Lindenberg from George Verschier, then Timmy Featherstone-Hoare in the Mercus Cures boat. We haven't seen much of the youngster from Port Alfred who won a race heat in Benoni in round 3. Fourth is Carl Frankovic in the Protea Hotels boat, 2 places up from where he started, and he's ahead of Andre van Diemen, 5th, and still leading the lights class. Russell Chard is in 6th, ahead of Lucky Radebe, who's about to be lapped by the race leader. Here's Radebe going down the inside of Van Diemen to take him for 5th, while on the outside, Peter Lindenberg is closing in to put them both 1 lap down. This can be dangerous as the 2 pilots are concentrating on each other and may not have noticed the race leader approaching them. Lindenberg is giving his teammate a wide berth so as not to get involved in an accident. With his main opposition out of the race, Lindenberg is now concentrating on getting to the finish and scoring maximum points. Timmy Featherstone-Hoare is still in a solid 3rd position, but it doesn't seem if he can do anything about catching George Verschier. Things are getting quite hectic now as the faster boats are continually trying to dodge and dive past the slower boats. Lucky Radebe has been able to pull clear of Andre van Diemen, who in fact has been caught and passed by Russell Chard. So Chard is leading the lights category in this race. Van Diemen has been slowing down. Oh, Andre van Diemen's US Robotics back boat almost came to a stop there. He's already been passed by Skulk van Tonder, so he definitely has some kind of problem. And that was Carl Frankovic, who has come to a stop from 4th position. Lindenberg is well out in front, and that's a beautiful shot of the pier with the thousands of spectators who have packed out the stands to watch the spectacle for the first time in 7 years here in Cape Town. Van Diemen coming up behind leader in the lights division, Skulk van Tonder in his core network boat, who's being chased by Marius Krause in the white and red boat. They're fighting for 8th position as Krause, who does have a few seasons behind his name, even though at 19 he's the youngest pilot in the field, goes past and takes 8th position. Just behind this group, race leader Peter Lindenberg is closing in again to lap them for the 2nd time. He's been in absolutely devastating form today. Ian Mather is still trying to fix that problem with his boat. It looks like a gearbox problem of some kind. Here's the bunch at the back, and Marius Krause has not been able to get away from Henk van der Merwe, who lives in Potchefstroom and is making his Formula 1 debut today. Andre van Diemen has decided not to take any chances. In fact, he's lost one of his pickles and is staying behind them, while Peter Lindenberg harbors no such thoughts. He wants to get into clear water and has now lapped almost the entire field. But look at this, Marius Krause has missed the turn, boy. He's cut across the inside and has to turn around to do it right. Otherwise, he may be docked a lap. Lindenberg now at his final lap, and he's lapped everybody up to George Verschier in 2nd position. It's been an absolutely devastating and demoralizing performance by the legend from Bryanston. We've lost 2 boats, Ian Mather and Carl Frankovic, but the rest had no answer to the dominating form of the championship leader. George Verschier has kept his nose clean in 2nd position, taking advantage of Mather's demise, while Timmy Featherstone-Hoare has given his new sponsors reason to smile with a good 3rd position, although the pilot and pit crew will be concerned about their lack of pace. A great performance also by Lucky Radebe in 4th, who's getting better all the time, while Skulk van Tonder takes the victory in the lights class in his 1992 Molgaard hull, finishing 5th. Andre van Diemen and Henk van der Merwe are the last 2 classified finishers, and van der Merwe can feel pretty happy about his debut result.
Peter Lindenberg, you've just won your first heat here in Cape Town, the first time ever he's been here. What's your expectations for the next 2 heats?
Look, obviously a lot depends on the weather, but if it's anything like it is now, no problem. They're going to have to go to catch me. I've really got my act together this season. We're cooking.
You're 12 points in front of 2nd position, Ian Mather, your teammate. Do you think that's going to have any impressions on what you're going to do team-wise?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you know, it seemed to be that I had a bit of the bad luck last season, and Ian might be having it this season. He's a bit of bad luck when he fell out there now, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. You know, he prepares all the boats, so there's no favoritism anywhere. I just guess a bit of bad luck.
So you can still teach the young ones some new tricks?
They're going to have to go like hell to catch the old man this season.
What happened? What went wrong, Ian?
You know, it's one of these things, finger problems, and I lost the flywheel as I went into the corner chasing Pete hard. Thought, yeah, here we go for a good battle, and next minute, no power. Engine don't go too well without a flywheel, so yeah.
So what are you going to do now?
Tighten it on properly.
Andre van Diemen, looking at your pickle on the boat, is that the indications of how rough it was out there?
It was rough. My boat is not built for this. I mean, you could see the first 2 laps, the boat was really quick, but then it gets a bit rough. It just doesn't work for me.
Henk van der Merwe, what's it like to be back in the hot seat again, racing here in Cape Town?
Well, it's good. There's a few problems on the boat, but after it's sorted out, I think it will go good.
So what you got to do on the boat?
I think there's some dirt in the injectors or something like that, and it's still porpoising. Maybe the change of the prop or something like that will sort it out.
It's been a dramatic race. There's some damage to Marius Krause's boat as well.
Well, definitely down the straight, I felt that the boat was really going hectically awkward. The boat was jumping all over the show, the water was rough, and my boat just seemed that it didn't want to take it. And I came off the water now, see that the sponton's starting to pull away from the boat, so I don't think I'll be able to make the next race.
Confirmation of the results then, with Lindenberg still leading the race and Skulk van Tonder leading the lights, followed by Andre van Diemen. And newcomer Henk van der Merwe in the points, finishing in a good 7th position.
Well, beautiful view of Cape Town, unmistakable. We'll be back with Heat 2 action after the break from Cape Town. Don't go away.
The Formula 30 class also got their chance to show what they're made of. This is one of the stepping stones to Formula 1 stardom, slotting in between the junior class and Formula 3, and it's become popular since its introduction earlier in the season. Powered by 30 horsepower Mercury outboards, these boats teach the kids to handle more powerful machines as they learn the skills that could take them to the very top. The start of the second heat over 15 laps, and the starting order has been shuffled. Henk van der Merwe has pole position and the inside line to the first turn boy, with Peter Lindenberg in 7th and George Verschier and Russell Chard on either side of him. There's some chaos around the first turn with boats going in all different directions, but they'll sort each other out soon and the race order should settle down. Here they come. George Verschier to your left, coming into screen now, has the lead from Timmy Featherstone-Hoare, Peter Lindenberg in 3rd and Ian Mather in 4th position. Lindenberg goes very close to the side in an effort to get a clean run through the left-hander. He wants to get to the front and consolidate his position as the overall leader of the day. Poleman Skulk van Tonder has had a bad start and has lost almost a lap this early in the race, as Verschier, Featherstone-Hoare and Lindenberg come up to a whole gaggle of boats. Non-starters in this race include Carl Frankovic, Marius Krause and Lights Championship leader Paul Reevy, who also missed the previous race. Russell Chard is in the middle of the screen. He's in 4th position as Peter Lindenberg literally swoops past this group and moves into 2nd position. Now he's closing in on race leader George Verschier. So on lap 11 out of 15, the race order is George Verschier in the WAP Alto RB10 boat, followed by Lindenberg in the National Ports Authority colours. Tim Featherstone-Hoare for Mercus Cura in 3rd, ahead of Ian Mather in the 2nd NPA boat. We're on the penultimate lap of the race, and Skulk van Tonder in his Core Networks colours has driven a steady race to hold 6th. Lindenberg has moved into the lead ahead of George Verschier and Timmy Featherstone-Hoare, with Ian Mather remaining in 4th ahead of Lucky Radebe in the 3rd National Ports Authority boat. Lindenberg has taken the white flag, and he's got such a comfortable lead that he can afford to pick his way around the slower boats. Andre van Diemen in the red US Robotics boat is moving ahead of Russell Chard in the Team Higher Anything colours, fighting their own private battle for 2nd in the lights class behind Skulk van Tonder in the colours of Core Networks. But nobody can catch Peter Lindenberg, who's been unstoppable today, taking the checkered flag well clear of the rest of the field. So Lindenberg wins his 2nd race of the day, but Ian Mather gets the 2nd as both George Verschier and Tim Featherstone-Hoare were penalised for missing a turn boy.
Yeah, look, I knew it straight away as I went around the turn boy. I couldn't see the next one. I thought, oh, hell, no, so I knew I was in trouble. Just tried to hang in on front. I knew I was going to be Dr. Lap, but I'm really sorry for Timmy. I mean, I screwed his race up.
Well, you must deeply regret having followed George, Tim.
Most definitely, Jane, but after also realising and after being told the last one, I thought about it afterwards and realised, yeah, I did actually take a wrong boy. And then also I didn't really want to cut across other people's lanes on the left, right-hand side of me for safety reasons, so I just kept going.
Another good performance by Lucky Radebe, who got the 3rd place courtesy of Verschier and Featherstone-Hoare's indiscretions.
It was a good race. And yesterday I was having a bad racing. I couldn't get control and train. And the weather was bad. But today, I was having a good day. So just came back yesterday on the water, just asked Peter, I have a problem like this problem, what must I do? Just give him good advice. Just keep going today.
Skulk van Tonder, leading the lights class, was very happy with his performance so far.
Well, so far it went very, very well, I'll be honest with you. It's the first time in a very, very long time that my boat's performing. I got to thank my sponsors, my crew, and especially Lindenberg Racing. They've helped me a lot this weekend.
But you guys have worked hard to get to this point.
Well, so far into the season, we've had our bad lucks. There were 2 venues that we couldn't even race because of engine problems. We seem to have resolved that now, and it seems to be going very well now.
Confirmation of the Heat 2 results, Lindenberg from Mather and Radebe making it an NPA 1-2-3, with Verschier in 4th and Skulk van Tonder again taking the lights victory. In the National Ports Authority Mercury Development Program race for children from local underprivileged communities, the action often got hectic, but nobody was injured and a good time was had by all. Chris Solomon of Eerste Rivier Secondary won overall in Group A, with a first, a second and a third, while Tukili Moni of Simon Estes High took the honours in Group B, with a win and 2 second places, as the scene was set for the third and final heat of the day. Under starters' orders for the final 15-lapper, and the dock starting order is based on the finishing order in the previous race. A great start there from Timmy Featherstone-Hoare in 5th position as we go on board with Skulk van Tonder, who's well on his way to taking his first overall victory in the lights category. He seemed to have got a bad start as Andre van Diemen shoots past on his outside, and this gives you a good idea of just how hectic the start of a race can be and how little visibility there is. He's got almost the entire field ahead of him as they close in on the first turn, boy. Oh, and somebody's gone over. The race will have to be stopped. Yes, indeed, there's a boat that's upside down and the pilot isn't visible at the moment. The 911 rescue crew is there like a flash and we can't quite make out exactly who it is. There was so much traffic in that turn that he quite possibly touched another boat, but he could also have found one of his sponsons digging into the water as he made the turn. Let's take another look from our camera position on the outside of the corner. From left to right, it's Carl Frankovic, Andre van Diemen, Skulk van Tonder, Ian Mather, Timmy Featherstone-Hoare, who gets a great start, Lucky Radebe, George Verschier and Peter Lindenberg on the inside. Ian Mather seems to have taken the lead, but remember they have to remain in their lanes until after the first turn. Mather makes the turn, so does Featherstone-Hoare. Lindenberg goes through and has taken third, and then from the outside comes Carl Frankovic, and it's him that barrel rolls his boat. Couldn't quite make out exactly what happened, but it doesn't seem like he had touched anybody else. Well, the pilot is out of the cockpit and he seems to be okay, but that boat is not going to take any further part in the proceedings today. Here's another angle from behind the dock start, and keep a careful eye on Frankovic on the far right-hand side of the field. He doesn't seem to be anywhere near another boat, but those who go through the turn before him certainly churn up the water. As he takes the turn, the Protea Hotels boat suddenly rolls over, breaking off one of the sponsons and leaving the pilot hanging upside down under the water. He would have been doing more than 100 kilometers per hour when it happened, so Cole would have taken quite a knock in the process. Here's the view from Skulk van Tonder's onboard camera that we had right at the beginning. The red boat is Andre van Diemen's US robotics boat, and as Skulk turns in, Carl is already upside down. Not too many answers there, but he seems okay. If just a little flustered as he sits in the rescue boat, probably still thinking, what the hell actually happened there? His boat will be righted and towed back to the pits. This is the restart, and a depleted field of only 7 boats are left to contest the final Formula One racing heat of the day. It's a complete restart over the full 15-lap race distance, and again it's Ian Mather that gets the best start, leaving the rest of the field in his wake. Coming up to that first turn again, and will everybody get through cleanly this time? Ian Mather comes up to the buoy, but it's Peter Lindenberg who takes advantage of the inside line, and he goes into the lead. No problems this time as Skulk van Tonder and Andre van Diemen bring up the rear. It's Lindenberg and Mather in the 2 National Port Authorities boats, then George Verschier in the Web Alto RB10 boat, followed by Tim Featherstone-Hoare in the Blue Mercus Cura boat, Lucky Radebe in the 3rd MPA boat, and then the only 2 lights left in the field, Skulk van Tonder leading Andre van Diemen. If they remain where they are, it's going to be close up the positions in the battle for the Lights title, as points leader Paul Reeby is still absent and will not be scoring any points at all today. Radebe has been a picture of consistency and is well on his way to equaling his best overall results of the season. Another picture of consistency, of course, has been Peter Lindenberg, who has absolutely dominated the entire event. And even if something should go wrong now, he's unlikely not to rack up yet another overall victory. It'll be his 4th out of 6, remembering that one event had to be cancelled because of the weather conditions. One more corner to go, and Peter Lindenberg takes the checkered flag for the 3rd time today, ahead of Ian Mather, the only other pilot on the same lap.
Can't get better than 3 race wins, so I'm happier. It just, puts the screws on everybody for the championship now, big time.
So Lindenberg takes it from Mather, Featherstone Hall, Fischer and Radebe, with Skulk van Tonder making it 3 in a row in the lights class ahead of Andre van Diemen. The lap of honour is a fine tradition in powerboat racing, and Peter Lindenberg has certainly had many of those in his long career. In the overall day results, Lindenberg gained even further on Mather, who is 20 points behind with 4 more events to go, while in the lights category it's Paul Reeby who's being chased by
7 of the hugely popular Formula 1 Powerboat Championship.